talking
Yeah.
about it because it's like weird that none of us do, but like there's a lot of weird shit that goes on with language politics in my city where English people don't have like a sense of self-esteem and ability to accomplish unless they leave here. Like there's this sense that you have to leave here to succeed. So to
Yeah.
like survive and thrive as an Anglo media person in the city to me is like one of the most important things. I don't care how the media plays out. I don't give a fuck. Rapping, fucking pot, whatever. It's just important to be English and win here.
Right. Right. Wow. Language politics, man. That's incredible. That's incredible that I did like it's incredible that I'm hearing about it. Not incredible that it's
No, I
happening.
know, but it's also
It's
like,
it's a
what have we
cool.
done wrong that you don't know about it? Like, I started thinking about that recently. Like, I don't want to bring it up all the time because, like, most people don't really want to talk about Quebec's language politics. Fair enough. But at the same time, like, as a scene, as a culture of people, how have we, like, done so bad to reflect the fact that maybe, like, this issue is valid enough to complain about? Like
I
they're
don't know, man.
denying medical. Like yo, my mom's if she has a medical issue, might need a translator. That's fucking crazy to think about for me. But she's too old to learn to speak French fluidly to learn medical jargon.
Jesus. That's rough, man. Hopefully that changes.
It's not. It's gonna get worse. Way fucking worse. It is,
Jeez.
dude. They're doing shit like they passed laws again. I don't know if these are passed or in the progress of passing. Where like, so check it right now. If you want to go to school in English in Quebec, your parents had to go to school. Like to go to high school and shit in English. Like I could go. I mean, if I have children, they can go because I went to school in English, right? So everyone else has to go to French school. The French school system that they fully controlled the curriculum in. Then they did some funny shit where post high school now, the English post high school education systems can only accept a small percentage of French students. So if you think about what they're doing is they're taking all the immigrants and forcing them through a French post high school education system. And everybody knows universities are kind of brainwashy these days. So you have this whole like way of taking an entire immigrant force, moving them through an education system and assimilating their children to this
Oh my
pro
God.
francophone culture that, and this is really happening. I'm not being hyperbolic. I
Right,
fucking
right,
wish I
right.
was. But like nobody cares, and the other part of it is where's the English media at to tell you about it? It doesn't exist here. Trust, when it's an election time, we all bust out the Google Translate because otherwise there's no fucking way. All the articles are in French.
Do you speak French at all?
Good, but not like political pundit good.
Right, right.
I mean, I'm like what I call functionally bilingual. In your part of town, I'm fluently bilingual. In my part of town, they speak really fast and use a lot of slang, and I'm not great at that part.
Oh wow.
So like,
Damn, man.
I, like I don't know. Like you have to speak French to work properly. Like I have to be able to, like there's a couple of people that I know at work where if I don't at least start the conversation in French, they won't even proceed the whole way down the path with me, right? Like if I start in English, it's different. um my girlfriend just said that she read an article today that was discussing how the younger generation feels so disconnected from these old generation language laws, but the government
Damn.
just doubles down on it because Montreal is like a zone, and then there's the rest of Quebec. And when you look at the voting map, it's like apparently New York goes through the same kind of thing where there's New York City and then there's the rest of New York. So it's
Yeah.
like that kind of shit.
Jesus. I mean,
So
with all of that's I was gonna use another pun, Holden. I'm not gonna lie to
you can
you.
pun it up, my guy. It's fucking
Okay,
ridiculous.
here we go. Let me start it all off. I appreciate you telling me about this stuff. You should try to speak up about it in your music so that you'll be holding them to a higher standard.
Hey,
Okay.
I like that. I mean, I did
All
it one
right.
time right before an election and I felt cool, but then I didn't
Oh,
do it
Mike fell.
again. Like I just didn't.
Sorry.
No worries at all, man. But I didn't do it again because I guess life moves on, blah blah blah. You don't really think about it when you're here. Sometimes it's the
Yeah.
kind of thing where you don't really, because not my whole world's English. It's online. It's interconnected. I can very much avoid these issues that affect other people. Plus, I got good enough at French that it no longer affects me. Shit
Oh
goes down.
wow.
Moi, je peux
Yeah.
parler en français n'importe quand. You know, I can just flip. And it's
I
just
need to learn French, man.
you'll
I
get
really want to learn.
Girls apparently like it a lot, and they like it if you have a shitty French accent with a lot of effort.
Oh wow.
I'm not talking
Okay.
about like English girls. I'm talking about Quebecois ladies.
So if I try to double down right now and try to learn it, how quickly do you think I could be at least? Because I've been really trying to. I was trying to do it during the
How many
pandemic.
hours? How much effort are you gonna put in? If you like put in
Probably
all
about
in,
an hour a day. Probably about an hour a day.
probably do it in 6 months.
Okay.
Like if you
I
really
really
put
want
a
to learn.
focused hour a day in the French, you're never gonna be like fluid, but you'll be good enough to impress people on effort, and you'd be able to survive. Like you'd be able to get away with impressing 80% of the strangers in Montreal and not giving you a hard time, but there'd still be that
Okay.
20% where it's not good enough. And I
I want
wish.
to be able to go to Paris and talk to
Oh,
people because the
Paris
last
and
time I went,
okay. See, yo, they don't think I speak French. They think I speak some dirty French that is completely different.
really,
Bro, yo, this language shit is deep. I used to do customer service, right? Like straight up on the phones. And I would answer the phones with my Quebec shit. And it was bad Quebec shit. And the Parisian people, especially the Parisian people, are so snooty about like the French that they would act like I wasn't speaking French.
oh man,
And it was like, yo, this is some real shit. Anyway, so when you were talking about your like language divides, I'm like, bro, you have no, like, yo, that's my whole life is language.
damn man.
Yo, there's a fact in Quebec that your last name almost guarantees to determine how likely you are to be a CEO. As in, if you have a French last name, you get to be in the club, and if you don't, you just don't. And
Oh man.
I have a French last name by accident.
Oh wow.
I'm mad English though. I'm never gonna get high
Yeah.
enough in the club. But I will get more callbacks on a CV shit. Like all that racism
Okay.
things, like that's real about like French last names here. And they documented it and they proved it and then nobody gave a shit.
How come every place but the United States says CV? Every place besides the United States
Oh, because
says
curriculum
CV.
vitae, we're not afraid of Latin terms, so curriculum vitae is not scary.
Yeah.
And y'all like
Damn.
Latin terms are like, oh no, that's so British, and them we gotta be mad different with our no U's in our word like
Yeah.
favor. I'm like, why don't you put the U in? It looks less flavorful. You know what I'm saying? I never understood it. Yo, why do you guys use Fahrenheit? That doesn't make sense to me. Fahrenheit's the weirdest shit in the world. The whole rest of the world uses this one thing, and y'all jump on
Yeah.
this next shit.
Yeah.